Hey everybody, this is LW Gaming and welcome to another tower review video. I know this one has been a long gameplay because I want to see how far would it get for enforcers, but it turns out they couldn't survive more than 30 waves, as it seems. Because as soon as the wave 30 arrives, there's already a lot of zombies on the board. So I had to end the gameplay there for now because right now it's like taking too much time for the gameplay. So I had to split this evenly with the review as well. So let's get into stats and see what this tower does for you. So first things first, this tower costs around 350 cash to deploy, and is a medium melee damage, and it's a ground placement tower, and you to unlock this you need 800 credits, which is not much, which is good for starters. For instance, like Enforcer is actually very good at the beginning, and also if you have pair with other towers, Enforcer can still be good for mid game or even late game if you plan out really well with Enforcer. So let's get into the upgrades and see what you can provide here. So here are the upgrades. The level 2 is a spike baton, is a 380, is a 380 cost. The damage per hit increased from 3 to 7, which is plus 4, and it's a 7 DPS. And then level 3 professional training, 840, and it has a faster swing rate, which is from 1 to 0.5 swing rate. So basically, it's a double DPS. Enables the enforcer to target camouflage enemies, which is also good. And then level 4 shock baton, which is 1,650, and damage per hit increased from 7 to 15, which is plus 8 in total, which is plus 8, which is makes a 30 DPS, and can now stun enemies briefly. The stun mechanic is actually one of the biggest thing for this because I mean the first introduction was from the DJ, and now we have it for Enforcer at level 4. And level 5 is the last upgrade, which is Peacekeeper, the one you saw in the video. They're insanely good. That slightly increases range. Damage per hit increased from 15 to 45, which makes them really good. And it's a plus 30 in total. And it does 90 DPS because of the 2 times DPS, and has a longer stun time. So basically, almost anything that hits this will get hit by the stun will get stunned briefly. So just keep that in mind when you're using Enforcer, because Enforcer can actually stun enemies at level 4 and up. So just keep that in mind. So anyways, to have the pros and cons. Decent damage in the early and mid game, like I said earlier. However, late game, I'm not certain because this can also change depending on what kind of tower you use in your loadout. So, anyways, they are crowd control with a stun capability, and they are fast hitters, which is a good thing. But the thing is, keep in mind they're short range, so that's their weakness. Melee range is their weakness, so I put it under cons because you had to watch out for that. And the struggles against bosses, especially the fast ones, like such as the hidden boss, but this will not be a problem if you have the high enough leveled enforcer. However, stuns are less effective on big bosses, like you're seeing in some part of the video. Like you notice that it's not effective against some bosses, such as the boss 2, because they're already slow and they're not getting any effect from it. But however, the necromancer, they are super weak against the enforcer's stun, because like when they get stunned they cannot move, which is insane. Like they cannot move at all. Like you saw in the video, you can see the necromancer, for some reason they cannot move when they're being stunned, which is quite hilarious because despite them being a boss, they can get stunned easily just like anybody else, like normal slows and speedies. Enough of that. Let's go to tactics and see what we can use for this tower. Uh, this tower is cheap, being a reliable early game defense unit, but can leak multiple zombies. So you gotta watch out if you're using this tower, because not every swing guarantees you to hit them. So watch out. There are better early game options such as Mercenary or Fragger that do not leak zombies, and can also be very effective mid game. This tower cannot stun enemies like Boss 1, but interestingly, it can stun the Necromancer, like I mentioned earlier. Like you can actually use this to your advantage. Like you can actually make the Necromancer not move at all and let the Enforcer whack it to death. And now let's talk about the trivias about this tower. Enforcer is the second melee tower in the game. The first being a knifer, which is something that you cannot have because of the fact that knifer is only used by Planet Earth, of course, the creator. However, this is the first melee tower to be released in the general public, which is true because Enforcer is given to us freely, of course, to the public. This tower targets nearest instead of first. So basically, if you didn't notice, if you look in the targeting icon, you can notice that it says nearest instead of first. The reason behind that is so that way they have better crowd control, which is kind of interesting because normally all towers have first targeting, but for this instance, this tower is a nearest targeting instead, which is quite interesting. And also, the enforcer has the shortest range of all towers, excluding farm, of course, because farms don't attack anyway, so that does not count. So, anyways, I know this video is very long, so I'm gonna have to sign out for this. So, see y'all later.